What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Tampa Bay Q&A Live. Stacy and I are excited to be with everybody tonight. And we've got some interesting topics to get into. An article regarding the cost of living in Tampa came up. I jumped on earlier this past Saturday, Stacy. Ended up going live to talk about just real estate stats, and everybody was there. They chimed in. It was a great conversation. So we can definitely get back in the weeds of that topic for sure. But we want to welcome everybody as they join us this evening. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. I'm joined by my trusty co-hostess with the mostest, Miss Stacy Amon, up in Pasco County, Wesley Chapel, as a matter of fact. Good evening, Stacy.
Good evening, everyone.
It's good to be with the Queen of New Construction.
Yes.
It's come to that term now. We show up on a Zoom call with clients and they're like, "Hey, Stacy's there." So thank you guys. That's awesome.
I guess that's my new title now.
One of them, one of many. You're a mom, Stacy. Don't you wear all the hats? Isn't that how it's supposed to work?
Yes.
Absolutely. She's out there running around with clients in not new construction today on previously owned homes, trying to work out offers. So she's negotiating a good one right now. Can't wait to hear how that turns out. Shout out to Bruno and company out there if you guys are watching. Happy to make that connection. And if we've never met before, my name is Juan Alcalá, and we make videos that are all things Tampa Bay. What it's like to live here, what it's like to work here, what it's like to play here, the food, the dining, the outdoors, the beaches, and the sunshine. Now, that's been going on. And if you saw the thumbnail, we've got some new action happening in town. And we're going to get into that today. We're going to get into what's going on with the Howard Frankland Bridge expansion, because we've got news there. Pretty exciting news, as a matter of fact. We're going to talk about a new study came out and said how much money you need to make to live comfortably in Tampa, along with a lot of other cities. But we've actually covered this exact study last year, Stacy.
Yeah,
I can't believe it's been that long. I was like,
yeah,
this has been a year already?
No, I can't believe it. So
Unbelievable.
I'm curious to see, has it gone up from last year?
We're going to see.
Yeah.
We're going to get into that. Yeah.
That's a cliffhanger, right?
Yeah, a little bit of a cliffhanger. So we're going to get into that study for sure. And then, of course, we're going to answer all of your questions live as well. So happy to be with everybody. Let's just say hello. And also, if you're new to this live stream, we'd like you to know is we try to make this as interactive and engaging as possible with you, the viewer. So if you're watching this on your television, did you know that you can actually comment through your phone? There's a little hack, by the way. And I know some of you are, mostly like 60% of you watch these on your television, which is bananas. And yes, YouTube tells us that, by the way. It's super creepy, but they do. So we have that information. But if you want to make a comment or you have a question, feel free to put that in the chat. Or if you're watching it later, put it in the comments. Happy to answer those questions for you. We don't have any bots or assistants answering the chat. So I also miss them from time to time. That's never on purpose. Feel free to DM me on Instagram as well, or Stacy. That is our handle on the screen there. So if that interests you, you got that connection to us as well. And I want to say hello to Keith. Good evening, sir. He said he got to run, but happy to make that connection. Kevin, my man, here as always. We love Kevin out in Lakeland. He's our brother from another mother, literally, but the same father, the heavenly one, as a matter of fact. Mr. Kemp, good evening, sir. Good to see you as well. We got Danielle in the house. Good evening, Tampa. It is a Taco Tuesday. You are absolutely correct about that. And then we've got Miss Jane in the house, of course. I mean, I feel like we're building this house with you, Jane. That's what I feel like is happening. This is awesome. We got Carol in the house. Good evening, Carol. Good to see you again. Desiree says, hello. Lovely to see you up in upstate New York. For those of you who don't know, she has shared that before, so I don't think I'm taking any liberties. Good evening, Corey and Cbus. He says, Corey tuning in from Cbus. As always, Chris, Sassy, Kevin, Vlad, Denise, Desiree, Lobo. That list is getting long, by the way. Hope you're doing well. We can talk the potential Rays site tonight. The Rays are playing at Steinbrenner. That has been decided, FYI, but that cat's out of the bag there. That is going to be very interesting. I think I don't know who's going to sit in that ballpark in August. I mean, dude, I cannot. You got to be one heck of a diehard baseball fan to go sit in the baking sun with no shade in Steinbrenner Stadium and watch the Rays play. They better be one heck of a team this year, because I don't have that. I don't have that fortitude, that intestinal fortitude, to Stacy, to sit out there. And it's going to rain every day.
True.
Right. And August, July, August, September, that's our rainy season, y'all. So that's going to be very interesting, Corey. But it is a good note. We'll see how that all turns out. Mr. Cook, good evening, sir. It is a Taco Tuesday for Brian as well. Love that. Debbie, good evening from Parrish. Shout out to Parrish, Florida. We got a lot of clients moving there. I mean, this is how personal it gets around here.
You're welcome, Desiree. I hope that was helpful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Kiara, good evening. Good to see you. Love it.
Kiara's watching from her iPad.
Yep. Love that. Love now we're getting shout outs from devices. That's fantastic. Corey says, regarding the Rays, I was listening to Garnett's podcast, Tampa Bay developer, 3 potential sites. Oh, the new stadium. Dude, that's speculation on the highest level. But we will get into a speculation conversation for sure. But for those of you who did not know, Tropicana Field was damaged last year during Hurricane Milton. It literally tore off it was designed to look like a sail. Well, yes, it did not survive the hurricane. So it ripped that off. And the city is going to foot the bill to repair that, but that will be for next season, not for this coming season. So the Rays are playing at Steinbrenner Stadium, which is where the Yankees have spring training. So, and spring training just wrapped up. Everybody's heading up north now. So shout out to you guys up. That means the north is about to thaw. So congratulations. Anybody who's up north or in the Midwest, where we know it's been a long, hard winter, because that's why Stacy and I left. So we completely understand. Carol says same. So we got 2 iPads in the house. Lobo, what's up, my man? You got a shout out from Corey too, if you didn't catch that. So make sure you connect with him. Kiera says, I watched the other videos from my TV though. I know, right? It's super strange how it does. Actually, the mobile phone is the second most watched device, then iPad and laptop. So it's funny how it shares that stuff. It tells us where the areas are that are watching too. So it's fascinating when you dig into they call it analytics, right? For those of you who aren't aware. Craig D is in the house. What's up, Craig? We got Mr. Campbell. We had Mrs. Campbell. Now we got Mr. Campbell in the house. Brian, how are you, sir? Deb and I are three screening it tonight. That's nice. 2 phones and 1 big screen. My man. They know how to do this, right? So like, Brian, you got to give a course on how to watch on television and comment on your phone, because I think some people don't know you can do that. That's fantastic. Let's go Rays. Absolutely. Cindy's in the house. Good evening, Cindy. She says, hey, y'all. And then 75 says, I went to the Trop last May to see the Mets play the Rays. I love the carnival atmosphere there, and I'm sorry the stadium is unusable. I hope they can recapture. Yeah, me too. We'll see. The stadium deal has fallen apart, but that's just where it's at. Here you go. We got another one. We have very highly intelligent viewers, Stacy. That's what's happening here.
Yeah.
Right? Because do you know how to do this?
I do not. I would have to call my son and ask him to set me up.
That's right. I just know you can comment on your phone while you're watching TV. I've never done it because I'm always on this side of the screen, right? So like, yeah. It's very interesting. But thank you guys. We appreciate that. Thank you for the connections as well. Let's get into some hot topics here tonight, because there is some cool stuff happening in and around town that I think we need to know about. What do you think, Stacy? What happened today?
Something big happened today over there between Tampa and Pinellas County.
It really did. Exciting news, to say the least. Yeah. And we're going to get into this. Let me pull it up on the map first. That's what I was going to do, is bust that thing open and show you guys what's going on here. Because some of you are like, what are you talking about? And why is everybody excited about a stinking bridge?
Were you actually on it today? Since you
I did not travel the bridge yet, but I want to show you guys this, because this is why I thought it was great. All right. So let me pull it up on the screen here so everybody can dive in. All right. This is a map of Tampa Bay. So if you're looking at it and you're like, what are they talking about? Here's downtown Tampa right here. This bridge coming over here, you can see all this beautiful red traffic. I'm going to go ahead and mimic that there as we're coming along. As you cross this bridge here, this bad boy, and they didn't change the map yet, Stacy, but this bridge is now open. And why we're so excited about it, because there has been like a, what has it been, 4-year, I don't even know how much money. I'll pull up the article here in a second. Expansion on this bridge where they added another 4 lanes of available traffic. And what they're doing is they're routing it so we can have 8 lanes going out to the busiest area going out and 8 lanes when you're coming back. And then have the other 4 lanes go northbound or southbound, vice versa. But this is the bridge. This is the main thoroughfare. This is where a majority of the traffic travels in Tampa Bay. Now, you also have the Courtney Campbell Causeway, which is to the north, but that's only two lanes. It's 1 lane going, technically it says north, right? But you're heading east towards the city, or you're heading west towards the beaches. It's only 1 lane on each side of the road. That is not a main thoroughfare. And then the Gandy Bridge expansion, which they did a really good job on that over time. But yeah, it's nice to have that bridge done. So let's pull this up. They said it's about time is the headline. It did take a while. There's no doubt about it, but I think people are excited. New Howard Frankland Bridge opens to drivers today on Tuesday. And this project went on all the way through COVID. There was definitely supply chain and things that slowed it down, because they started this project right as COVID kicked off. So it was like not the best timing in the world. But it is definitely a cool thing to see get done. It's something that we've been working on very hard for many years, and going through COVID-19, supply chain shortages, issues like that. When the bridge, they're talking about it, hopefully it's a marker for the rest of Tampa. There's a lot of road projects going on here, but man, they opened it up this morning at 5:20 a.m. I got the notification like, hey, if you want to go use the bridge, it's out there and ready to rock, which is pretty cool. The project cost $865 million and began in 2020. And I'll say this, I lived in Detroit, which was the Motor City. Most of my adult life, all my childhood and most of my adult life until I was 40 years old. And we were pretty good at tearing roads up and building them. Watching people build a bridge in the water is the most mind-blowing thing on the planet. The amount of heavy equipment on barges, and like watching those guys do that, and going through multiple hurricane threats and hurricanes in the air. Stacy, every time I cross that bridge and see those guys out there, I'm like, man, shout out to those guys, because that's got to be hard, scary work, first of all. And to get a project like that done is super cool.
Yeah.
Right. Is super cool. So when you think about that, it's pretty awesome when that does. So now the new bridge will have 8 new lanes, including 4 express lanes that go both north and south. So there's both tolls and not toll roads on there. So there's the freemium version. You got the free version plus paid toll roads if you want to do that. FDOT said those express lanes will open next year, so they're not quite ready to go. The new part of the bridge that opened Tuesday will become part of I-275 southbound lanes. Now, there's also going to be a pedestrian walkway across that bridge.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So like you can go out and run and bike. Now that's pretty interesting. It's going to be loud. You're standing on water. Like bridges are already loud, right?
Wow.
Your cars and stuff, and you're going to be, but what a cool thing to do, to be able to go run that bridge, right?
Yeah,
or
how many miles is it?
Take a bike, like
7?
It's close to 7 miles from tip to tail. But what a cool thing. I love this project. I love that it's almost finished. Let me get to a few more of the quotables here. And then here it is. Crews plan to demolish the current northbound lanes on the old bridge in 2026. The original part of that bridge, I think, is from like the 1950s. So it's pretty old when you think about it. But what a really cool project. So shout out to those guys getting it done. Again, the news here is the Howard Frankland Bridge expansion has opened as of today, and you now have 8 additional lanes here running across the bay. So we'll get you more. I'll get you actually footage, guys. You'll see it. I travel that bridge at least twice a week, so you'll be able to see what's going on there. But definitely something we're talking about.
I'm really curious how all these 8 lanes are going to merge into.
That's what I said too. Yeah, Stacy's not wrong about this. She's asking a really good question, because the challenge is, as you come in, this is why they call this whole thing Malfunction Junction and all this stuff, right? Like when you're coming into the airport, y'all, they got to fix this thing. Here's what's got to be fixed. When you come off 275 and you're headed east, technically they call it north, right? But you're headed eastbound here back into the city. You can jump off on Kennedy and come down into Tampa, and that'll take you into South Tampa and over to the city if you want to go that way, right? Okay, that's this road here that I'm doing on. But this yellow lane here that I'm about to cover up, that is all of this traffic merges down to one lane if you're going to the airport. One. So that's usually where all that congestion kind of comes from. Stacey, I don't know, but they definitely got to do something here. But the flow it'll move faster because you have more flow. Right? Yeah. Coming over is going to be way better than going in.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So coming to Pinellas County is going to be super easy. Right? Even at high peak times, coming into Tampa until we get this junction fixed properly, it will definitely be at a little bit of a pain point. But they're working, man. Right now, they're working on that I-4 connector over in Malfunction Junction. That's the one I'm highlighting right now. That's already down to dirt. They're they're rocking and rolling over there. And the lane expansions in 275 have already opened up as well. So that's good. Right?
Yeah.
That's a good thing. So we're working on it. But it's good news. Howard Frankland Bridge, at least phase 1 of that is open and ready to rock. I don't know when the pedestrian stuff's going to come online. We'll keep you guys in tune. I will probably take like a bike and a camera and we'll do the thing out there. We'll go check it out. Take some earplugs.
That's scary to me to have someone bike across that.
It's going to be interesting. That's people are going to be out there every day.
I know, but
every day they're going to be out there. Yeah, like Stacey's like, nope. Like, y'all go ahead and do your thing. That won't be us.
No. No, because I mean, if you're out there, that's a long way out there. It's not like you can just change your mind.
That is a fact. That is a fact. We had more viewers trying. Oh, go ahead, Stacey.
I was just gonna say you have to be committed.
You need water. That bridge is so long, y'all, that they say, hey, make sure you get gas.
Yeah.
Right. There are signs that say hey, make sure you get fuel before you cross this bridge because it is a long way. And there wasn't any real shoulders there to speak of. That there's no doubt. The bridges in Tampa are just like Tampa. It's like a box of chocolates, man. You just get out there and do your thing. I find them fun. I love looking at, you'll see dolphin when you're crossing there sometimes. You'll see all the pelicans are out there all the time. I love crossing over that bridge. For me, it's something it's home. Like whenever I come home from a trip or a travel and I get off, I either leave the airport or we're driving home. That last when we're coming from Tampa over to Pinellas County and you see the sun, it's usually setting at that time or something. It's just like, man, it's home and you can smell the salty air. I love it. I absolutely love it. So,
well, typically, most of the time when you drive across it, you do get this sense of, ease and comfort and peace because the water, just not during rush hour, you don't get that feeling.
Yeah, for sure. There's no doubt about that. It can be busy during rush hour. For those of you joining late, welcome to Q&A Tampa Bay. We love this conversation here. We started out talking about the new Howard Frankland Bridge expansion that is now open as of 5:20 this morning. They opened an additional 4 lanes, which is awesome. And we'll get in a little bit news and notes here, but we're really here to engage with you guys and answer your questions. So feel free to bring those questions too. But let's say hello to our late viewers here. Melanie, good evening. Good to see you. Lobo says, what's up, Corey? Conversation for 2. We should pull you guys in. We should start bringing guests on. That's what we should do.
Yeah,
that's
a good one.
How many of you are brave enough? Send me a DM on Instagram. Let me know. We'll bring you guys on to say hello to the crew. Everybody knows your handles, but they haven't seen you guys yet.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun. What do you think?
That would be fun. Because I love seeing the same names and, actually putting a face to the name would be awesome.
Yes. And Desiree is correct. It is 2 lanes on both sides. She's right. And when you're going over that Courtney Camel there, there's all kinds of people hanging out, grilling and chilling off there, treating it like it's a beach. It's not. But they're partying it up down there, man. It's always a good time to see those guys having a good time. Nick says, brother, how you doing? We're doing well, Nick. Good to see you too, man. Good evening, Wade. Pleasure to make your acquaintance here. He says, evening, all tax season almost over, so I can start having the wife to watch too. Absolutely. Love it. Yeah, tax season's a bear, man. We had real close friends of the family, and they were accountants, and they were just gone. from like, it was probably like November is when they started getting crazy busy. And then I never saw them until May. And then they went straight to vacation. They're like, oh, just grinding it out. So shout out to our tax professionals out there. The controllers of the refunds. May you be so lucky to have a refund. Love it. Desiree says she'll fly down and join. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's do it live in studio. I am here for it. I'm here for it. Brian says, finally decluttered before we put the house on the market. Dumpsters are in the driveway. That's called pot committed.
That is commitment right there.
Absolutely. Is the boss okay with that? Like, did she allow you to say that? I just want to make sure that we're not getting anybody in trouble. You need me to hide that, Brian? Let me hide that. I didn't see any news from Abby so far tonight, so I don't want to get you in trouble. Abby, he did not say that if he's not allowed, but if he's allowed, he said it. That way we know what's going on there. All right. Jane says, when is usually hurricane season? I'm afraid of moving here this June. Well, welcome to the party, Jane, just so you're aware. Technically, hurricane season begins in May and ends in November. It is a majority of the year. If you look at the charts of activity, I don't have one on me. I should keep one of those saved in our database. If you look at a majority of the activity, it takes place September and October. So that's like when everybody's really kind of like on edge. It can happen anytime prior to that. But if you look historically speaking, a majority of the activity takes place between September and October. And our experience has been just that. Literally September. It's been like mid-September all the way to mid-October is when the activity is confronted us. So and y'all, we'll get you guys some updates too, man. My house is completely full. I know I did an update last month, but I've got appliances, cabinetry. You know how this is how you know that you've either come to an age where you get excited about the wrong things, or you're just so excited to be back in your house that you can't control yourself. Stacy, toilets got delivered this week, and I was fired up.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Kate was excited. I was excited. I was shamefully excited because I was like, also disappointed because no one wants to pay for those things. No one. No, there's no flex in your life when you're like, yeah, baby, just got those new toilets delivered. It doesn't happen, especially when you look at the bill. You're like, really? And one thing did come across my mind, and I know this is probably a little bit twisted, but I mean, honestly, for the amount of money that you spend on that item, the amount of times you use it, it probably only cost a couple tenths of a cent by the time you get new ones. So you are getting your money's worth, right? In terms of, but it still doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's not a fun thing.
Yep. It still does not feel good. There's no doubt about it. No, it's not fun. Benny, good evening, says, is there going to be a phase 2 of Water Street? There is a whole nother development just to the north of that. That is, they've already cleared the ground, and that's going to be that whole like transition from like the Gasworks district up to Ybor. Like, it's not, they're different developments, but yeah, the answer to that is yes. They've already cleared it. They've got fences that are all wrapped up and taken on, ready to go over there. So don't know when they're exactly planning on doing that, but I'll dig into the Tampa Bay developer podcast. They're usually pretty good about knowing what's going on over there. But good question, Benny. Good question. Denya says, any cross-country relocation tips or a video wish y'all had on vlogs? Yeah, I actually do have one where I like in that video, I think I have a website where like I have all my moving things that we put on there. One of my favorite hacks, and we just learned this again because going through this stuff, you can get containers like the Target containers are pretty good, the ones that kind of fold and close on themselves. But the Home Depot 27-gallon containers are awesome because you can fill those things. They all have lids. They're all uniform. So when you're done, you can stack them, but they stack really nice and interlock on top of each other. And you can just rent a hand truck or like a dolly. Or even buy an inexpensive one. It'll make your life so much less complicated. And you can put 4 of those on there pretty comfortably. And if those are too big, you can go down to like the 17-gallon ones. Love that. Painter's tape and Sharpies. So if you do a uniform container that way, and painter's tape and Sharpies, you'll know exactly what, and I go by room, right? So put the room, this is, now we're getting the labeling. This is how nerdy I am. Sorry, y'all. But like put the room on there and then put what the items are, or the general description on another piece of tape. That way, like, you know exactly where they go, and it'll make your life way less complicated. Pod is a good one. Pod, that tends to be our clients like most go-to on the moving company end, is like they'll rent a pod because they'll store it for you too if you need time in transition. What else have we seen people do there, Stacy?
Pod's the big thing, like you said, but you know, we just moved, and I've moved quite a bit actually, and you would think that I would have learned a lesson by now, but don't put the screws to your bed in a good place, because we lost 2 sets of screws to beds.
What?
And we never found them until I think Jeff found them 2 weeks ago. So yeah, that was bad. We always lose the remotes. We think we put them in a safe place, and we never can find the remotes and which TV they go to, all the cords. Like, just make sure you pack all that stuff and keep it with you, or keep it in the front of the pod so that it's there in the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good one. Painter's tape. I'm telling you, this is why we made that shift, because we tape the remotes to the television.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yep, you tape the remotes to the television, you wrap it in plastic. It doesn't go anywhere. You can get the plastic bags from Home Depot. They're super simple. The wardrobe containers are also very nice because you can hang everything in there. You can't hang like a full-length dress in there, but you can hang everything in there. It keeps it buttoned up. Those are really cheap from Home Depot as well. And they come with a metal, they have a metal hanger in the middle that you can hang all the hangers on, which is great. But the other thing that I would encourage there too, Danielle, and I'm, like I said, we're way in the weeds here, but it's okay. Ziploc bags. So what Stacy just said. So what you do is you take a Ziploc bag, you take the bed apart, you put all the screws and fasteners in there, and then you tape that to the frame itself with painter's tape. Again, it doesn't tear up anything, and you never lose the screws. You don't lose the remotes.
Where were you when I needed you, Juan?
I'm sorry, we didn't talk about this. You were busy moving. Right? You were busy moving, but like, those are just great hacks. And if you struggle with lifting things, if you like, maybe you don't have the strength to lift those 27-gallon containers, whatever, if you can get beer shells from Publix or one of your local grocery stores, beer shells are the perfect size. Those hold 4 6-packs of beer, but they really don't let you overload them. They don't, if they get wet, they won't fall apart because they're designed to hold cold beer and make it through a cooler and they're just really nice. They're corrugated with wax on the inside. Again, nerding out, but I moved a lot in my life. You learn a lot. So for those of you who just joined us, you're welcome to that conversation. But happy to be with y'all, and hopefully that helps. Danielle, reach out, DM me, man. I got all the hacks, right? There's more for sure, but like, those are good ones. You can buy the saran wrap. Take everything out of your drawers, but buy the saran wrap and just saran wrap the drawers. You never have to worry about them, because that's what people do too. They'll tip it over and it slides out and breaks some. It's just crazy talk.
Yeah, that is a good one too.
Yeah, yep. So be careful with that. Dom, I'm in trouble with Dom. Dom, he did reach out to me. Dom, I don't got any excuse. I'll call you. Forgive me, brother. Forgive me. You demand. Debbie says, question on pools. We're debating on whether or not to put a pool at the new house. Do houses sell faster in Florida with a pool? I'm hearing mixed opinions. That's not mixed. For us, at least, right, Stacy? Like, very rarely do we have a client who doesn't want a pool.
Yeah.
It's very rare, Debbie. There are parents who can be skittish, who, you know, if they have young children that haven't been around pools, but honestly, it's got to be 90% of the people that we get on a call with would prefer a pool if it's there.
Yeah, I mean, think of it this way: like, everyone wants a pool, but no one wants to pay for it. So your house is just more marketable if it has a pool.
Yeah, I would not expect a dollar per dollar return. No. Okay, so I do want to caution anyone who's thinking that, because that's just not true. And pools are not cheap any longer, just like nothing else is in this country anymore. And you can spend a lot. On average, our clients are spending somewhere in a range of 150,000 to get a pool installed. Now, before everyone's jaw hits the ground, which I know it's going to because they are expensive, that typically includes the bird cage, the screened in lanai. Those are some, I don't want to quote prices, but what we're seeing is somewhere in the range of $25,000 to $35,000 for those, depending on the size, of course. And then what people are doing is they're not just getting the pool, right? The pool is one expense. Then they're doing things like water features, right, Stacy? So it might be a small waterfall or a sun shelf or little seated areas where you can like kind of swim up to the side. Zero entry for the kids. That's another thing that we're seeing out there. And then a spa. Spas are not cheap. If you're going to add a hot tub to your pool, essentially you're adding a heater. Those alone are expensive. I mean, you're talking, and again, I don't want to give quotes, but those get expensive. And then you got to take into account the entire surround, which that's the patio, if you will, around the pool. For those who are not familiar with those terms, a completely paved surround that goes back up to the entry of your house. Like, again, you're talking $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, depending on how elaborate you get. What type of mitigation are you going to do there, right? So they have to put drains into those because you don't want that watershed coming back towards your house. So there's a lot that goes into this. So if you guys are considering that, I'm sure you probably have already done your homework, but I'm letting everyone else know this is why pool homes are so desirable and why they're not cheap, right? So when you see them now, you used to be able to slam a pool and a surround and do all that stuff for 40, 50 grand. Now it's triple that cost. And if you get in the weeds with outdoor kitchens, you can spend $250,000 like that. Yeah. Right. Like that. And I know, like, I'm looking at redoing everything we have outside right now because our house is now going to be all nice and beautiful and brand new. And I'm going to be looking at this busted old outside that like we were planning on doing anyways. Like now it's going to be like the curtains won't match the drapes and I don't know what to do with myself. Right. So like we got to fix these things. And Stacy, I'm terrified because not only like it's one thing to do that if you don't have it yet. It's a whole nother thing to tear out the old.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the other thing I was going to point out too about a house that already has a pool. People like the idea of them not having to deal with the mess that comes with building a pool for months and months and months. People would much rather already have it done and paid for than them have to do it themselves.
Yeah. And another thing as well, permitting, which Debbie and Brian, you guys will, you're going to learn the HOA is going to have some influence on what you guys do out there. They're going to have to review plans. Not everybody loves waiting on third-party approval for stuff. So like, it just, and you guys may not specifically, I can't remember your HOAs, but a lot of HOAs require you to submit the plans to them, right? Uniformity, stuff like that. So again, it's just another delay. It can be a little bit more of a challenge to do that. So if you guys can get a pool home, do it. When you're building, if you can add it, if that works in your budget, do it. Right. Because the builder's going to take on those challenges of permitting and like it's all done before the HOA approval was fine. They wrote it. Right. So like they know exactly what's going to go in there. So just a recommendation for those. But again, not everybody can afford to tack those things on. Completely understand. But if that is in your wheelhouse, go that direction. Great question, Debbie. Great question. What else, Stacy? What else I missed with talking about this specifically? What other challenges do we see? Or, again, from a desirability perspective, I think it's 90% of our clients want a pool. So,
yeah, I mean, you're right. I've never had a client say, I don't want a pool.
No, just a few moms. I'll tell you what they don't want: alligators in the retention ponds.
Yeah, they don't want the pond, but they'll take the pool.
They'll take the pool. Yeah, they'll take the pool. That's what they don't want. And it's Florida. They're alligators in the retention ponds, everybody. I don't know how to tell you otherwise. Like they're going to be there, right? But they kind of mind their own business. You just leave them and do their thing out there. But when you got the screened in lanai and the fenced in yard, it just gives you a peace of mind for sure. So definitely something worth considering. But great question, Debbie. Thank you. You guys are awesome. All right. Nick says, would it be a wise decision to rent first before buying a home in Florida if I move from a different state? Stacy, why don't you take this one?
That's been the question this year, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a good question.
Well, if you have time to come down here for 2 or 3 days, we can really help you figure out which communities that are going to work for you. And that's what we do. We kind of condense that time for you. It's not going to take you more than a couple of weeks to figure it out, probably less than that. Because when we jump on a Zoom call with you, we really dig into your lifestyle, and that helps us out a lot in finding the right places for you to start doing your community shopping. And once you find the community, it's really easy to find the house. So if you don't have to rent, I don't think we would recommend that, because you're just paying someone else's mortgage and throwing away money that you could be putting towards your own.
Yeah. The one thing Stacy's right with all that. And the other thing that we always share is like, there's a time and place for renting too, right? If you covet mobility, if you like to move, or you think your job's going to relocate you don't know, and you're on a year-long contract, those things make sense to rent. It's just tough that most of our clients are in a situation where they're paying at least $2,500 a month in rent, right? So like when you think about that number, that is a very large number, and like, it depends on your lifestyle and what you're trying to accomplish. But the reality is, you could spend a tiny fraction of that, as long as you have the time, come down here and narrow your focus, in a couple trips. You can do it in one long one, honestly, but like, I understand some people's risk tolerance is very low, others is very high. So, not trying to be ambiguous about this, Nick. It just really depends on you. Like, what do you, how quickly can you do homework? Getting into these communities and knowing what they feel like, you can learn that pretty quick. But some people just take longer, and that's okay, right? Just so you know. But yeah, Stacy's right. Like, I'm something that I know can be done in a couple weeks. Recommending somebody take a year to do that doesn't make sense. But if that's what you feel comfortable with, and you think that's the best decision for you, then follow what you think. Again, you best. That's the best way we can put it. But we can compress that time dramatically. So, but it's a great question. Great question.
Yeah. And I think the majority of, our clients can figure it out after the second trip. And usually the second trip is just to validate what they were thinking the first time before they left.
Yeah, for sure. I love this. Carol says, at least hurricanes come with warnings. Earthquakes do not. That is a fact. That is a fact. Wow, that's crazy. All right. What Dimitri says, good idea. That's a good idea. Love it. Okay. Not sure what that was.
What was the good idea?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the good
tip, maybe.
It was whatever you said, Stacy, not what I said. For sure.
All right, we'll go with that.
Yeah, my wife has trained me well, has she not? Right.
Good job, Kate.
That's right. Good job, Kate. Way to go. Woo woo. All right. Brian says Abby is on the phone. So what I say until she gets I love the caveat at the end. He says, until she gets here. Yes. Smart man. Also trained well. I love when the wives are training the husbands well, because it keeps us out of trouble. High five, Brian. Got those smart women. I love it. MKN. What did I miss there? I'm not sure what that means. Am I supposed to know, Stacy, or do you know?
I don't know.
All right, let's go back to Debbie's. She was talking about the move specifically, so I don't know what that means. Daniel, sorry. Brian says, my feeling on the pool question is that with our clubhouse opening in a few months, the pool isn't just going to be some value as a nice screen in Lanai with the outdoor built in the grill. Okay. Clubhouse, the pool isn't going to be bring some value. No, it will bring value. And the reason that happens, good question, Brian. Not everybody is social as everyone else. When it comes to the community pools, what I have found in my experience personally and it from our clients is a majority of them who have their own pool rarely go to the community pool. Rarely. If they will use the community clubhouse and the playground and things like that, but they'll use their pool quite frequently if that's the case, because it's an event. When you take your family, it's one thing if it's just you or you and your significant other, it's still an event, but it's not as a big of a deal. But for families with young children, it's an event to take them anywhere. Right? They're feral, they're savages, they're usually no, I'm kidding. Those are just mine, not yours, of course. But y'all, have you tried it? Like, do you know what it's like to get 3 kids shoes and beach stuff and all just to get it in the car? Right?
not even the kids, just the stuff.
Yeah, the stuff. I mean, blood pressure gets elevated. It's a whole production, right? And you don't believe me, call Kate. She's at home right now. I'm sure she's bobbing her head. Absolutely, right? Like, now we love it when we get there, but to get to anything, whether it's the beach or the pool, it's an event. So having that in your backyard eliminates all of those headaches, you know. And when they get real feral, you can just put your foot on their head. You can't do that at the public pool. That's frowned upon. I let them up. They're all excellent swimmers now, I'll have you know. I'm kidding. No one needs to call CPS. That is a joke, y'all.
Strictly. Did you just throw them in when they were babies?
Yeah, I joke, I kid. And the other thing too is like our kids are great swimmers because they've always been in the water. Right? They've always been in the water. So yeah, it's your life, guys. Like that's what we always try to put it to. Like that's your house. If you're thinking about selling it in the future, yeah, again, it's going to be of value. It's going to attract people for sure. It's going to take a little while to recoup that investment though. All right. So I always just share that with everybody. I want to make sure you're being transparent with you guys about what that looks like. It should be a for you thing.
Yeah. And I would be careful with like extending the lanai. And if you decide not to get a pool and just extend your lanai, just don't extend it to the point where no one can put a pool back there when you go to resell, because you don't want to, shrink your buyer pool if there's not enough room.
Right. Yeah. And keeping green space in your yard matters a lot because typically people who want pools also have children and dogs.
Yeah.
So kind of keep that in mind too, for anybody thinking about that in the future from a resale value perspective. The one thing we do see is a big pool and tiny little strip for the dog, and not everybody loves that. But the dog's the last one in line. It's usually, parents, kids, and then the dogs, but they do ask for that. So we're just sharing that with you because you guys had a great question, right? Great question. All right. Gustavo says, any comment on where you think single family rental prices are headed this year? I think prices overall are seeing downward pressure, period, both rental, and we've already seen the statistics there say that rent has dropped a little bit in Tampa Bay. So a little bit is relative. Housing prices still went up 8% last month after being down. This is the thing. Everybody was like, house prices are crashing in Tampa. Home prices went down 3.5% in January, only to rebound 8.5% in February.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? But I think this is why we're seeing so many new renters, because the affordability thing this has not gone away. Right. This has not gone away at all. So definitely something to keep in mind there. When you look at that, but I think you're going to see more downward pressure. I don't think you're going to see a $2,400 rental go down to $1,900 based upon what we're seeing in the marketplace right now. But there's definitely some flexibility. There is more inventory on the market, which is putting more pressure, downward pressure there too. So good question. Good question. All right. Jane says, so is it good to move there in June? We're already paid and set on the movers, already packed most of the bedrooms, and Jane, you're a Floridian come June, my dear. Like, welcome to the party. This is the new norm, what you're walking into here. And you guys are far enough off the coast where, yeah, I mean, where they're at, I mean, they're on a lake house, but you're far enough off the coast where you shouldn't have that strong of concern. It's definitely big storm comes across your house. It's going to be windy. I mean, I rode out Ian in Orlando, because that was supposed to be Tampa storm, if you guys remember. It took a hard right turn at in Lee County there and went across Cape Coral. And then I grabbed a hotel in Orlando because that was supposed to be us. And turns out we got the brunt of it. And I was on the top floor with my poor 10-month-old Doberman, who now is terrified of the wind because that storm was ripping across there. But, we had some strong winds, but we made it through it. Our clients did great. A couple of them had some plants get knocked over up in Wesley Chapel and Land O'Lakes, and they weren't that stressed out. So, again, you're pretty far off.
Oh, just jump in the truck and come on down.
Come on down.
Come on down.
Take the plunge, right? Danielle, purge in your house so you're not paying to move stuff you don't need. Amen to that.
Yes, that's good advice.
It is good advice. Jane says, I bought a lot of packing bags, labels, packing boxes, but leaving the crystals, love that, glasses and plates for the packers to be safe. Okay, yeah, that's smart. That is smart for sure. Let me get in here. Vinny, good evening, sir. Look at the size of that dog. I know that's a small thumbnail, y'all, but that is not a small dog. Is that a Dane, my man? That looks like a Dane. Or it could be a Mastiff, but it's hard on the thumbnail. It's a little bit small, but that looks like a Dane to me. We're huge. I love Great Danes. All right, looking to move to Clearwater area from Pittsburgh. Shout out to Pittsburgh. I have an investment property here and looking for some down south in the area. Prices don't make sense. Well, prices make sense if you live here, because when you step out on that Gulf and see those sunsets, you know exactly why people do what they do. But yeah, I'm not saying it's cheap or inexpensive. I just know that people are still coming, right? Y'all, like, look, let me show you guys this. I meant to show everyone this last week. But Vinny, that dog is beautiful, by the way. Just so we're on the same page. Let me pull this up. All right, y'all. Over the last 30 days, we've had 54 people reach out to us. These are scheduled calls, Zoom calls with Stacy and me and the team. So Charlene, Madison, Sky, Ashley, and Stacy. And 54 of you scheduled calls. Now, why? If you're looking at this, you're going, well, what completed events is 46? Well, we have scheduled appointments all the way out through next month already. So that's why they're not completed. But that's how many people are still relocating the area. And it's less. Like, we've shared this with you guys. The relocation machine in general has slowed down across the United States because not as many people are being able to work remote. We still have a lot of remote clients. Like, Stacy, it's 50% at least? At least of our clients who are able to work remote. But we still have clients moving for jobs too, but like, y'all, we aren't slow. So, it's hard for us to compare. I'm looking at the market, but this is the big thing, Vinny. People are still coming, man. It's their dream. When you think about it, like, if you have the resources and you're capable of doing something, it would be nice to time the market, but most people get tired of waiting on their dream. And eventually you just got to do the thing or don't. You know what I mean? So it's a great question. And I'm with you. Housing prices in the United States are tough. Affordability is brutal, right? It's brutal. Most people don't make enough money, to buy a home. Think about it. If the median home price in the United States is $450,000, that means you have to make $115,000 a year as a household or as an individual to be able to purchase that thing and have very little debt. And the statistics don't say that that's the average resident in the United States. So these are fascinating things when you dig into the actual numbers. So shout out to you guys. Great question. I'm with you. I just don't know when it's going to come. The best deals we see are new construction, but those aren't near the coast. So like, kind of, playing both sides of the fence. But great question, man. Thank you for commenting. I don't remember seeing you on here before. Stacy, have you seen Vinny on here before?
No, I believe it's the first time.
All right. Shout out to you, Vinny. Get a round of applause for the first time commenter if you are. If I forgot you, my man, I'm sorry. But we try to keep track of the community here. And thank you for letting us know where you're watching from. And if you need help, man, just reach out. I put our contact info in the actual chat there with you guys. You can just schedule a time with Stacy and I or the team. And we'd be happy to help you guys if you want to make this a reality too. So thanks for the comment though. All right, let me get down to Craig. He says, we used to pack rat when we moved to Clearwater. The pricing was reasonable and you had the option to hire people to unload it. Yeah, that's nice. That's a good option. Thanks, Craig. Thanks for sharing. We'll make sure that Stacy gets that notice next time.
And no problem with the unpacking. It's finding the stuff I packed.
Yeah. Oh, for
Because you
sure.
know what happens is that once you get to the end of a move, like when you're packing up your stuff, you just get to the point where you're like, just throw it in a box. Let's go.
Yeah.
Because you're ready for it to be over.
Yep. All right. Demetrius. He says, I have a family of 5. I grew up in St. Pete. Shout out to you, my man. I haven't lived there in 14 years. That's a whole different world now. I know it's changed so much. Which area would be a better bang for the buck, family-wise, Pinellas or Hillsborough County? Dude, that's such a good question. And if I just said one versus the other, just because, I would be doing you no service. What are you guys trying to accomplish from a lifestyle perspective? You grew up in St. Pete? Did you go to the beach? Does your family want to go to the beach, right? When we become fathers, it's not always about us anymore. Usually it's not ever about us anymore. I'm sure the moms feel, that way too. It becomes about the kids. If it could be 3 dogs, I'm taking a liberty, I understand, but what is the ideal lifestyle for you and the family is the question I would ask. If you guys are beach babies, if you want that urban vibe, then St. Pete, of course, Pinellas County is great. Right? It's a more established area. You don't have access to new. Most of our housing is old unless you want to start spending $1 million plus, which, people do, and that's okay. But the median home is 1,350 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and costs almost $500,000. For a block home in Pinellas County. You can definitely go out to Hillsborough and find, things in Riverview and Brandon that cost significantly less. But again, now you're away from the city and away from the beach. It's just a matter of what makes the most sense for you guys from a lifestyle perspective, Demetrius. Again, you're going to get more home in areas like Riverview and Brandon and Hillsborough County than you typically will in Pinellas County. Both have their pros and cons, man. It's just a matter of, like, you guys want to be near the coast and have to deal with as much hurricane stuff potentially, or older homes, or do you prefer newer things where you can get out to areas like Apollo Beach, Waimama, Riverview, Brandon? If you want to go to Pasco, that's where it blows my mind, Stacy. Like, did you know Pasco County ranks as one of the highest income per capita in the entire state of Florida? Wesley Chapel specifically.
Yes, I have heard that.
I did not know that the median income was higher than Lakewood Ranch, right? That's fascinating. Yeah. The median household income in Wesley Chapel is like $112,000, which is a lot. In the United States, I know people are like, but that's a lot from the U.S., right? So like that's fascinating to me. So, and you can still find a home out there, a 4-bedroom. You can get a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,600 square foot home in an incredible neighborhood with a huge, giant open lot across from it, right, Stacy? For $425,000 come this Friday.
Actually, come this Thursday.
This Thursday. And you can ask Stacy about that house, because that is a banger deal in a great neighborhood. So you can find that there. But man, it just really depends on your lifestyle. So if you want to get deeper, reach out to us, man. We're here to serve. Okay, so that's what we're here for. I'm always so bad with running the banner. Let me put the banner up. That's how you do it right there. Or you go in the chat and we've got our link right in there. Great questions, y'all. Thank you for questions. I do have more that I want to get to, but these guys just have outstanding questions. All right, let's keep rolling. All right. Hey, Juan, Chase here. I was the one who hit you up on Instagram regarding the open roof restaurant. Oh, that's awesome. In Sarasota. Trip to St. Pete was great. Any tips on getting the wife to... Don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby. Well, I don't know. How good was the trip? If the trip was great, what do you don't need my influence on it. What I would say is, if the wife's a sun worshiper and she loves the beach and loves eating her way through the areas, man, like, I mean, what's there to argue with? St. Pete is incredible. you know, Sarasota. The restaurant that he was asking about, y'all, is a restaurant called The Shore. And it's in St. Armand's Circle in Sarasota, and it has a retractable roof. It is awesome. But it was damaged during the hurricane. St. Armand's Circle took it on the chin twice. That was tough down there. So, but that's a great restaurant. Once they open back up, we'll hit it up. I've got it in some videos, but I'll make sure we get back down there and share that with you guys. But love that, Chase. Great question, my man. Hit me up again. We'll see what we can do. But I don't want to get in trouble. All right. Don't want to get in trouble. All right. American Constellation says, my son that's 25 closes on a nice house here in Pinellas this Friday. I'm very proud of him. That's awesome, man. Awesome. I'd be proud of him too. It's hard. Listen, the average first-time home buyer in the United States is now 38 years of age. 38. So shout out to you, my man. You guys did something right to help that young man along to be able to purchase that home, because he's beating the odds. So that's saying a lot. Congratulations. Oh yeah, that's what was going on. Reggae Rise Up was a ton of fun. Spring training in Dunedin. Wasn't like Sting and Shaggy part of that show? Reggae Rise Up is a huge thing that happens down in St. Pete every year. Stacy, my brother-in-law comes in from across the state and hangs out, but that's a big event. If you guys look that up, there was thousands of people down there. It's awesome. It's like a 3 or 4 day concert. Pretty cool. Jane, can I just say you're the woman? You always share. You're transparent. I love that. This is perfect. Thank you very much. So Jane says we spent $170,000 for a pool that included the spa, the water feature, and fire with my husband. Added the aqua fitness and sitting area and cage. I can't wait. So we're in the wheelhouse, right? Like we said, we see a lot of our clients spending right around $150,000 to get that done. So it sounds to me like you guys have a beautiful one design there. Can't wait to see it. American Constellation says, I love my pool. We do too, man. I can't imagine owning a home in Florida without a pool. I can't imagine.
But how it goes this summer.
Yeah.
I don't have a pool.
Yeah. Stacy had a beautiful, oh my God, her yard in her last place in Dade City was unbelievable. She had the best backyard.
I did.
So big. It was so big. Like the fact that you had like 3 different seating areas out there, and then like still had like 2 different areas for the dogs to go run around, and then the pool, that was bananas.
Yeah. And I wasn't out in the country either. I was in town.
Yeah. Like right downtown.
I was right downtown. That
was fascinating. Let me see here. Does every pool need heaters or just the ones with spa? No, my pool doesn't have a heater on it. The spas will have a heater attached to them. Obviously, that's how they get it warmed. And then that overflows into the pool typically, and that's how they warm the pool. It's a very nice thing if you want to keep your pool warm in the winter. I actually prefer to cold plunge my pool. And then anybody that comes down for the winter anyways, that's always, it's a source of entertainment for me to watch the people from up north suffer in my pool and pretend like it's not a big deal. Like they're in there, they're turning purple. You know what I mean? Like, but no, a lot of people have pool heaters. We will get one at some point, but I won't use it during the winter. I know I won't until family comes down, just because I love going on my runs and then coming back and getting in the pool, especially in the winter when it's like 58 degrees and you're like, whoo, baby, we're about to do this. You know what I mean? And then you just testing my mettle as I get more wise, as I grow older. I'm always trying to see how much I still have left in the tank. So tangent on that one, Wade. Thanks for bringing that up, by the way. All right. If you guys need us, you can go to thattampalife.com/contact. It's in the chat. You can just click on it. But that's a way where you can schedule a time to meet with me and Stacy or me and the team, depending on where you guys are looking to relocate to, but happy to help. Elizabeth, shout out to Elizabeth. She has like a really cool Instagram. Are you following her, Stacy?
I am not, Elizabeth. I am going to follow you right now.
She does a really good job of like just sharing her life. I think it's really nice. I enjoy following her. She seems to be a very fun time. Her and Wes are awesome. So you guys are great. Congratulations, guys. By the way, she says, yes, coming out and exploring really helped figure out what worked for us. And we recommend that. We call it community shopping. And it's one of the things that we strongly encourage our clients to do. Very few clients buy sight unseen anymore. It's very rare. God, it was so common during COVID, but people have really kind of, no, we want to come see it, and that's okay. And but that community shopping component, that's what gives you the confidence to say, yes, this is the community I want to be in. Right. And it starts to feel like home, and we can track down a house. Like Stacy said, that's really that part is easy for us. And it's not that real estate isn't complex, because it is. However, we do it so often that it's second nature to us. So that's what we're here to do, is to help people, guide them through the process. But you guys have to know where you want to live. No one wants to move twice, y'all. It's expensive, and it's not, moving sucks. I tell everybody that the actual move part, you lose the bed screws.
And the remote.
And the remotes. I mean, this is not fun. And that's the least of your problems, right? Usually somebody throws out a back, right? Like there's something happening. You smash a finger, like it. You're always like, oh, I'm going to save a few bucks. And by the end of it, you're like, why did we not hire somebody to do this?
And something always breaks.
Yep.
At least one thing.
Yep.
Every single time.
That is a fact. B says, Juan, do you show homes in, what is it? Kenlenti? I don't know where that is. Yeah. Is that a specific neighborhood? Yeah, I need more insights on that. There are about 7,000 neighborhoods in Tampa Bay. I don't know every one of them by name, but if it's further out, then no, that's a city specific, because I don't even know it. Great question. American Constellation says, rent first if you are from up north. You might not like it here in the summer. I grew up here, love it in the beach. Yeah, it's fair. One of my favorite things to do is tell people, if you're really unsure, you come in July. You come in August, and you come in September. Spend 10 days here. You'll know very quickly whether this is for you or not, because it's 83 when you wake up. It's 83 at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's 95 come midday, right, Stacy? It is muggy. Like, you will know whether you like the blast furnace or not. And there's no relief. Like, you just don't get to hide from it. So people tend to get things done early and late, and then hang out in the AC for the rest of the time. So yeah, definitely, again, got to know the game and what you're ready for and what you're not. Some people love it. Like he says, I'm used to it, right? And same thing for us too. The first year we were here, I ran every day at like 11 o'clock. My wife and I ran during the day. And like the reason being, Stacy, is I'm fluffy by nature. I used to be a big boy. For those that don't know, I was 250 pounds at 5'9.5". I will have you know, I'm a robust 5'9.5". But I was 250 pounds, and you ain't supposed to be 250 pounds at 5'9.5". So I had to get my fluffy butt in gear. And now I figure, if I'm going to be in pain and suffer and have to run, because I loathe running, might as well be sweating as much as humanly possible. And working on your tan. Look, I'm starting to get brown already. Yeah, baby. Look at that. It's coming back. It's coming back. All right, Stacy, this one's for you. Yeah, no doubt. This one's for you.
Hey, Juan and Stacy. Hello from Folsom, California. First time joining the live stream and learning so much. Welcome,
sir.
Yep.
You get the round of applause as well. Golf clap, everyone. Give them a golf clap in the chat. Love it. Welcome, Austin. Happy to have you on the live stream. Yeah, it's Q&A, man. We just chop it up. We bring the goods, but we never get to half of the stuff that we have saved for you guys. We had two other things we really want to get in the weeds with, but y'all have great questions. And I love the feedback and the shares. Getting perspective from people who live here, from the locals, that stuff is valuable. Those are great insights for people, in terms of making those, just helping you dial in maybe your research. Those types of things they're all great. So I love that. Gustavo says, smash that like button. Do it. Do it now. If you got the remote control, hit the like button. I love that. Big fan. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Kiara, definitely coming up again in June. Needed that second trip validation. Haha. Yes, you do. You have been very diligent.
Yeah.
And very patient.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that. Let me see. Dimitri says, having guests on I don't know. Did I miss something, Stacy? What did he leave
Yeah,
off
we were
with?
talking about having guests on, remember?
Oh, yes. Having guests
You
on. Yes,
volunteering.
absolutely. Yep. What did she say? That was that was sent and unsent. Laugh out loud. Error message. All right, Danielle. I was like, what did I miss? Like, I thought maybe it was one of the cool things the kids are saying now that I'm now that. Oh, somebody posted a photo, Stacy, on Facebook so rudely from 30 years ago when I was in high school, and I was like, why did you have to say that?
Was it of you?
No, it was of our entire class. It was the class of 1995. But I was like, oh, that's so painful, right? Like, oh, so painful. Thank you for the reminder, though. That's what happens when you grow wiser, right? What do you say? American says, I don't recommend going swimming in any community pool. Oh, we lost Stacy. You have no idea what's going on in there. Fair play, sir. Fair. I love that. LG, you the man. Thank you. Apparently, I forget what this is called, but you can it's like a super fan or something. There's a button that you can contribute. Thank you for the contribution. I appreciate that. He says, I know you get this question a lot, but I'm about to close on a townhome this Friday. It's 1,246 square feet, built in 2002 in Hialeah. Do you think prices are about to go down? I'm paying $360. Oh man. So I don't sell real estate in Hialeah. That so speaking to it directly is probably an unfair approach. As I said, there is downward pressure on pricing all across the United States. What I recommend for you is look at the history of Hialeah. And when I say history, I don't mean the last 2 or 3 years. If you're buying a home to live in and thinking you're going to sell it at a profit in the next 2 to 3 years, that's speculating. Okay. If you're buying your primary home to live in, you have other advantages that people don't if prices go down and interest rates go down. If the interest rates go down because prices go down or the economy goes down, you can lock in a much lower interest rate than the 6.5% or 7% you're about to pay. And now you'll be paying on that home like you owned a $250,000 property if interest rates get down to like 5 or 4.5%. So it's not just about the price, it's about the control. And there are many other factors, of course, right? Interest rate deductions. There are lots of benefits to owning a home, more outside of just the purchase price. So I don't know the specific market, but what I would say is you're pot committed, man. Everything's already there. Not that you can't pull out, but you'd lose your earnest money deposit. But what I won't do is counsel someone without knowing their situation. Number one. Number two, you have an agent that you've relied on to get you to that point, or you're doing this on your own. I wouldn't want to overstep my bounds there, but what I would say is hopefully you've made a decision that you're comfortable with, because real estate prices go up and down in the United States, but mostly they have gone up. And over time, and I share this with everybody, over a decade-long period, real estate in the United States typically increases 40% on average. If you go back the last 100 years outside of the Great Depression, real estate over a decade appreciates typically 40% on average, if not more. Okay. So if you're holding for the long term, you should be solid. Again, I'm not Jesus. I'm not Nostradamus. That's not my game here to play, but it is a very safe and proven asset over time. So hopefully that helps. Great question. Sorry, I can't give you a specific answer. I don't know the situation. I don't know your market. But if you hold it, you're going to win over time. That we know, right? History has proven itself. But great question. And thank you for the contribution as well. I greatly appreciate it. All right. Mindful Approach says, who has worse traffic? Orlando. Oh, this is not close. It is Orlando. Now, Tampa, it does not have amazing traffic, but we like rank 17th or 18th out of the top 50 metros in terms of congestion. So that we're not there. But Orlando, when you get close to Orlando on I-4, I'm telling you right now, I'd almost rather be in Atlanta on some days. And that's saying a lot. So great question. Great question. Brian says, only pack the essentials. All right, Stacy's back. All right, I didn't see you there. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right, Brian says, only pack the essentials. Breville is going on the truck. Amen, brother. I'll tell you, we took the Breville to the mountains last time we went. The Breville's the espresso machine. Shout out to my peeps, by the way. You are my people. You know you're my people when you're traveling with the espresso machine. And yes, listen, when you go on vacation, you don't know what kind of coffee you're going to get out there. Like just like Mr. Constellation says about the pool. You can't trust the community pools. That's a fair argument. Again, I'm not saying I'm going to be swimming in there all the time, but it's fair. Bunch of kids in that pool. Most likely you're not going to see Juan in it either. Right. But just like that, Stacy, when you go on vacation, you make room for the espresso machine. Brian, we bought a Bambino so we could we shipped one to our in-laws.
Oh, that's funny.
The nearest coffee shop was like 20 minutes away. And they drink regular coffee. And nothing wrong with regular coffee. I just like the really, really strong stuff. So now I'm getting really bougie on everybody. Forgive me, y'all. Everybody's got a thing, right? Juan will wear the same pair of jeans all year, but we want really good coffee. So judge me if you like, but it's just where I'm at in life. I love it. All right. Fellow drone owner, Dane owner, I'm sorry, Elizabeth. Yeah, that's right. Driving cross country next month. Absolutely. Yeah. Elizabeth and Wes have a Dane. I can't wait to see that big boy when he gets down here too. Love it. All right. Let me see here. Let me get to some questions, guys. We do usually wrap up at 8, but too many questions. You guys have great ones. Thank you for all of them. I see Tim says, hello, guys. I'm looking forward to coming down. First week of April. Heck yeah, Tim. Come on down, man. Love it. Debbie says, we are in a 55 plus community. Is there still the same demand? There you go. Good question. I forgot that, Debbie. You're right. That is a good question. Let Stacy and I look at the numbers there. Let's look at the numbers of pools in the community, because I do know the one thing about the 55 plus communities is a lot of people are going to the pools on purpose. It's a social event, right? It's an engagement thing. And I'm trying to think on the resale end, do we see as many pools? Because that is a specific question. Again, I will always go back to this as a default. Is it important to you? Would it improve the quality of your life? Does it matter to you guys? Because there's someone it is. Like we just had a call with two families that are buying a home together on a golf course community, 55 plus, and they absolutely have to have a pool. It's a deal breaker for them. Why? Because in their mind, they want to go hang out, have margaritas, do the thing on their lanai. They want to be the house that everybody comes to. So that's an example, right, of that. But that's why I say it's really about you and what you're trying to do. All right. Jane says, I asked my sister from California to visit me. We'll put her up here to work and help her unpack. Yeah, there you go. That's right. Hired help. We're all about the help when we're doing it. Do you think Tampa is a good city for people in their 20s and 30s compared to other cities in Florida? Tampa is a extremely young city, 36 years of age on average. It's young. So downtown, Seminole Heights, that's your area right there. Go hang out, Nick. That's where all the young kids are hanging out, young working professionals. Like we go downtown, that's what's going on down there. So I don't think you'll be disappointed at all if you were in Tampa. Right? What do you think, Stace?
I agree. Yep.
We are enjoying the weather down here. Tim, I almost broke a sweat today, and I started to get upset for a second. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I moved here for this exact thing, right? Because it was warm. It got warm and muggy today, right? It's early but we've had such good weather.
We've had beautiful weather.
Such good weather. So like the one day that showed up and it was a little bit muggy, I was complaining already, but I just buried that deep down inside. I don't have to complain, right? All right. Jenna says, for communities that have big swimmable lagoons, do gators ever sneak into those? A gator is not sneaking into those lagoons. And what I mean by that is they're literally crystal clear and they're not deep. So you would see them. Have you seen anything in the chat boxes? Stacy lived in Epperson, the lagoon community up in Wesley Chapel. Yeah. Do you like see anything in the Facebook group or anything like that?
I have never seen a gator in the lagoon. I haven't heard anyone talking about that.
There's too many people. I think the only way that would happen if someone brought a gator in on purpose. They're completely fenced off. There's no water retention directly next to them. The water is heavily chlorinated. Like and there's so many people around. I just can't imagine that being a thing. But
yeah, and it's loud. Like, well, not loud, but there's always something going on there. So I would think it would have to be closed down for a long time before a gator would even come around.
Yeah, for sure. Pool party at Jane's. Absolutely. Danielle invited herself to the game. I love it. That's fantastic, y'all. Thank you for joining us. If you join in, we're going to wrap up these last few questions and then kick off for the evening here. We are working on content for you guys for this weekend. Tim says, looking forward to coming back and seeing John's Pass and Madeira Beach since the hurricane hit that area. Yeah, they're coming back together, man. It's coming back together pretty good. Caddies and Madeira just opened back up. Caddies in Reddington just opened back up, and they're making headway down there. I was just down there last week filming, just checking things out. It's slow but sure and steady progress. Took forever for permits to get pulled for a lot of people and businesses, but they're coming back around, man. They're coming back around. Steven, what's up, my brother? He says, Juan, have you read the 5 a.m. Club? It's in your wheelhouse. I have not, but if it's coming from you, sir, I'm happy to do it. Shout out to Mr. Railton. Love that. All right, Jenna, we are debating getting a pool before we move in. We live out of state. Is this crazy? Or should we be on site to oversee construction? Also, modern fiberglass versus concrete all the way. Mm-hmm. Don't do. Fiberglass does not hold up. It gets its behind whooped from the sun, and they always look dated and like it's just not good. You want concrete, it'll hold up. They're just a much better product. Jenna, are you already building a home? Is that what you're asking? I'm just not quite sure what you mean by that. But like, if you've got a good builder, they should be able to recommend you to a highly qualified pool builder as well. And you should be able to trust them to do their thing on that process. But I just don't know where you are in the process there, but great question. And again, get the pool. If you're in construction, get the pool. It's just easier to do it at the time. If that's what you want, just FYI. Abby's back. Tell her you're telling on yourself. She already knows that you didn't when you have to say that, right?
I think she knows better anyway.
Absolutely. Love it. All right. Jane says, yes, I'm from California. My husband, born in Florida. We compromised. I'm willing to move to Florida, even hate the weather, but I'll be there. I'll be the one to decide the house to design it. Yes. Gave him golf simulation. Oh, nice. You got to go. Y'all got the hookup over there. Jane has the party house. Just if anyone's wondering, it's Jane. They did it right. They built all the cool things in the house. My one of my best friends is looking at putting one of those simulators in his place too. But he's a golf nut. He's a big fan of that for sure. You are welcome, man. Not a problem. Happy to do that. Wade says, when I was down last week, it was funny. Left Buffalo and New York in the 70s, and Tampa was 75 to 80, but felt significantly cooler. That's because of the water. I said, like, it messes with you, man. Like when you got that coastal breeze and it's coming off, and the Gulf of Mexico is not warm yet, right? So you definitely getting a nice breeze that was coming in. It was windy all last week too, so that's probably what was going on there. But you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. And you guys have, like, Buffalo, you guys have cold water right there for the Great Lakes too. So that's find that interesting. I wonder if that was just a mindset thing. You guys are welcome for the pool party. Absolutely. Jane said we're welcome, y'all. Sharpen up those. You need to get the passports ready if you're out of country. Get the plane tickets together. We are going to Jane's house for a pool party and golf, apparently. All right. Jenna says, bought it. It's resale. Yeah. Now that's it. I would say, again, find a good quality pool contractor. Do your diligence there because mistakes do happen. But there's some great companies. I don't know where you guys are at, but do us a favor. Send me a message. I'll have Stacy connect with you on the pool builders that people recommend in the area. So if you need help with that, Jenna, I think that could be helpful. Arthur says, I'm an investor. Which town's single family are good for? What type of tenant are you looking for, Arthur? Are you someone who's looking for families? Do you want single professionals, ideally? Working professionals? Do you take pets? Are you looking for high-end rents or Section 8, if you will? Subsidized housing? Like a lot of questions to be answered there. We deal with a lot of different types of investors. So I mean, the most popular, the top 5 suburbs are where, I mean, those are great places to rent single family homes because they got great schools and they focus on safety and typically have the highest rents, but they also have the highest property cost. So those are something you got to look at. But great question, man. Great question. Stacy, one heck of a night, man. Look at all the questions. We never even got into the other 2 things we want to get into.
I know, they were on fire tonight.
You guys are great. I love it. Thank you for bringing the questions, y'all. We appreciate it. Let me get in here. There was 2 more things that slid in. I do want to say, this is my last question I'm taking, just so everybody knows. I got to get home to the family. Kate's going to kick my butt. But I want to get into this. It says, the Catacombs. We're looking to move to Tampa Bay or St. Pete area. I'd like to buy a new construction home. We are selling a home in Idaho first and moving there. Coming from Boise? We've got people from Boise that move here. Can you guys handle the selling of the house as well? Yes, I can't sell in Boise, but I can, or I'm sorry, in Idaho, but I can help you find a good professional if that's what you'd like. I can give you all the questions to ask. As a matter of fact, we can interview for you. We've done that for clients in the past as well. Happy to help with that. So feel free to reach out to us. Information's on the screen there that goes directly to this phone, y'all. Just so you know, that 727 number goes right to me. Also, if you go to thattampalife.com/connect, which is in the chat there, you can schedule a time with us. Happy to help you guys. Okay, so just whatever you need. Jane says, great live. Thank you. You're welcome, Jane. And Stacy, we love doing this. I love doing this. You know, you guys have such good questions. And I mean, last week we had like 3 Zoom calls get scheduled from the live stream, which was awesome. I don't even know if we have any yet. Yep, we got one this evening. Thank you, whoever that was that signed up for the call. We're happy to connect with you guys. Let us know, FYI, when you sign up and you're on the live streams, can you please let us know? Because our team is very big. You know, we've got 4 other agents that help serve the community here. But if you're wanting Stacy specifically, can you do me a favor when you sign up? Just let everybody know, like, yeah, I want to talk to Stacy. Right. So I want to make sure she's on that meeting with you guys because she's not able to be on all of them. 400. We had 400 Zoom calls last year. And listen, we got to go help you find the houses. So we can't be on all the meetings and in the houses at the same time. So we really want to make sure that that we get you guys dialed in as much as possible. There we go. It was Danielle. So we'll make sure you get connected there, Danielle, to Stacy. And you guys get what you need. But appreciate y'all coming through. We say it every single time. Go out
and live that Tampa life.
Live that Tampa life.